Welcome to the Pirate Broadcast, where we interview interesting people doing interesting things, where you can expand your connections, your community. Kindness is cool and smiles are free. And let's get this party started. And it's another beautiful day for the Pirate Broadcast. We bring interesting people doing interesting things so you can have a little bit of perspective on what's happening in life and what's going on around you. Meeting a new friend, new face, and today we have Ozeal. So Ozeal is a longtime friend, someone that's been in the podcasting industry, and also just an overall amazing resource. So if you're not connected to Ozeal, tell him Russ sent you. All right, Ozeal. Good morning. How are you, my friend?
Good morning, Russ. I'm doing great. I'm having my usual cup of Joe here. It's my coffee. It's a beautiful morning. Actually, kind of a muggy morning here. Oh, there you go. Boom. Kindness is cool. As a matter of fact, I wore this shirt for you because I know kindness is cool is your thing. And look, check this out. It's free to be nice.
Oh, nice. Fantastic.
Look at that, man. Look at that. Look at that.
See, look how Ozeal brings it to the table every time. So it's a little muggy and hot in Houston, huh?
It is, man. It's been muggy. A lot of rain. It's been very hot and humid. And it's very cloudy. So it seems that we're going to be getting more rain coming soon. But it's great, man. We miss you. I know this is, you called Houston once home.
Yeah.
And now you're in Arizona. So we miss you down here in Houston, man. We love you.
Well, I have my son still there. So I'll have to come and visit and hang out. And so I was talking to Cammie, she does the social media breakfast, and we were talking about the three of us getting together to do one of the social media breakfasts. So
that would be amazing.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
And, so she's a pirate as well. So now in the pirate community, we have a couple of people from Houston, and we'll continue to grow that activity. So tell me, you started the podcasting meetup before this pandemic hit, and so are you doing some live over to streaming activities now, or tell us to give us an update on what's taking place at Ozeal's life?
Yeah, Russ. Well, yeah, that's been the kind of the big change with Pod Houston. The group is called Pod Houston. I started that in late 2018. So we've been going strong for about 2 years now. It's been growing over 1,000 members in our email list, and about close to 800 members in the Pod Houston, which, by the way, I think they're tuning in. So everybody in Pod Houston, shout out to Pod Houston. It's been amazing, Russ. It's been amazing to do that. So to answer your question, yes, we've gone virtual. So we've done 2 virtual events since COVID, and it's been fun. It's been such a great experience doing live streaming. I've never have really done live streaming before, so this was a first time experience, and I've been enjoying just being able to connect virtually through this. So it's been fun. It's been growing, and Pod Houston is just an amazing group that it always surprises me how much podcasting is growing. As a matter of fact, the growth of Pod Houston is a reflection of the growth of podcasting in general. We're getting more and more people joining the group daily, from business professionals to creative entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, really from all walks. So it's been pretty awesome to see podcasting grow in that regards, and of course seeing it within our Pod Houston community.
That's fantastic, and congratulations on that growth. I know. What was it? 5 years ago, 6 years? I don't know when it was. When we first met, and we were talking about podcasting, and I know you were getting your podcast up and operational, and I was teaching it podcast movement, and some of these things that were going on. It's just like, and I think I was doing Future Media Association, where I was trying to get everybody this concept that you are the media. You have the ability and the opportunity to stream and broadcast your message, and it's still true today. I mean, it was a little ahead of its time then because people weren't really in alignment with what podcasting truly was, but it's coming along and it's growing every week. I mean, you hear new podcasts launching, and you hear new communications taking place, and people, coming to the table. And it's kind of strange too, because being a podcaster yourself, sometimes we get caught in this bubble, of thinking everybody podcasts, and it's not the case, is it?
No, it's definitely not the case. Especially now with live streaming taking popularity now because of COVID. What's been really interesting, Russ, seeing this, and by the way, props to you because you're right, man. I remember when I met you 5, 6 years ago, you were ahead of the game. You were talking about solopreneurs, business people becoming the media, using different media tools and educating them on how we can use this to leverage to share a message with the world. And so you were definitely an OG in that regards early on. People don't know that, but Russ goes way back when it comes to media. So of course, I know it's been exciting seeing everything kind of grow into fruition, where now, educational institutions are now using live stream. You're seeing business owners now, as I mentioned, jumping into the live stream podcasting world. So what's been really interesting now, Russ, as a podcaster, is that now you're seeing podcasters adopt video. Now you're seeing them say, okay, how can I use video in addition to podcasting, where I can now simulcast? And good morning, everybody. I see you, Wendy.
Yeah.
Hello, good morning. Yeah. Pirate Nation there. So I see it's been really fun seeing the movement grow, and now everybody is jumping into simulcasting with live streaming, audio with podcasting, and then putting stuff on YouTube, which is something that you were early adopter on, incorporating different facets of media. So yeah, man, it's been really fun. I feel like the bubble's gotten bigger.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It used to be podcasts, and now it's like growing. And now it's like you're throwing in live stream and you're throwing video in there. And it's been pretty cool to see that.
Yeah. And that's, it's almost as if what I'm doing now with the Pirate Syndicate, bringing all of these platforms together and streaming to, using the live stream as the foundation, and then building on that a podcast, building on that a transcription for the audio, and then building posts, and then slicing it up and using it for other media opportunities. And it's about, building that traffic circle, keeping the momentum of that wheel going, because, more and more our time is less and less. Yeah. So you have to kind of build up bite-sized pieces of content to continue to be visible, I guess, in most platforms, because I mean, like Facebook feed goes by quickly. Twitter is even more, it's even more so that way. It's like, okay, you just see it for a second or two and then it's gone. The next thing you know, it's you have to continue to fill that feed. It seems like only, with podcasting and what you've done with the group, building a community around it. That seems to be more of a trend. I think we're going to see it in the future of these platforms. And with podcasting and live streaming, you actually have the opportunity to share that information. So how do you see that rolling out? I mean, you've been involved in the arena for a while now.
What exactly again? I'm sorry. Can you repeat that question, Russ?
Yeah. So in the multi-stream arena,
okay,
in the podcasting arena, having a group of 1,000 individuals, where do you see it going? What do you anticipate that's going to continue to evolve and shape up the industry?
I think, you said it, you alluded to that earlier, Russ, is, community has to be an essential aspect to anybody who is looking to build an online platform, whether you're starting a podcast or a live stream show. It is important and imperative in 2020 for you to adopt a cultural mindset, a community-centric mindset. It's always been like that. But I think even with podcasters struggling to market and grow their audience, you have to build culture around your podcast. You've got to build community within your niche. If you're a podcaster that's talking about mommy entrepreneurs or Gen X entrepreneurs, it's imperative now in 2020 for you to start a community on Facebook to funnel them in, not for the sake of marketing, but to really pour into building a community. The result is you happen to grow your podcast because you have invested in caring enough about the community to where you can say, hey, I so happen to have a podcast that's tailored for our culture. And I think that's where we're going. So in regards to community, I know you've been very big into community and education, Russ. That's why I think you and I have been aligned with those values early on, which is the reason why I started, the Houston Digital Media Society and Connected Creatives. And now with Pod Houston, I'm very passionate about community. And that's always been kind of like my core mission in everything that I've done. Even back when we were, musicians, when I was a musician, I started communities around the genre of music that we were doing. So I think the way it's shaping out, Russ, is that anybody who's watching this, all the pirates, you have to really, really understand and develop a sense of community within your niche. Pirate right here, right? The Pirate Broadcast. It's a community of pirates. And you understand that well. But for anybody who's watching, you have to be, now it's important to adopt that and see what can you do to contribute to a community. And we need more community leaders, which is the reason why I'm so passionate about Pod Houston, is because there's so many people that are passionate about the platform and that understand the importance of contributing and being a part of that growing community.
And I think it's a huge part is contributing to the community. I actually had Con on. Here's Con saying, "Hey, good morning." Con is instrumental in a lot of personal growth as well as professional growth, and people in the leadership roles are the ones that are leading it out and really going out. Are you still? Yes, I'm using StreamYard. Absolutely. So far, so good. I love it, and continues to improve. And then Wendy, she started out as a podcaster recently, so she's in the podcasting community.
Welcome.
Probably connect with her and get
that. Wendy.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Congratulations.
So she's doing some great work. I don't see Gabriel here, however, he's usually in the community. Fascinating. I've got Singcast on the Star Maker app. He's a musician. He's also a musician. Ozeal.
Very cool. So, very cool. Love it.
We're here.
Fellow musician, yeah.
So you're a musician. I mean, you know what it's like to build a community, and I think musicians right now are really focused in on building their community, to making sure that their music is heard by the people that want to hear it.
Right.
And the big promotions and the super amazing shows are great. Everything's good. However, you can create some amazing community around your music, your ideas, your concepts, and just being productive with this idea that we can actually connect with people over podcasting, broadcasting, and everything else. So are you going to get into live streaming a little bit more in the future, or are you going to stay continue with the podcast?
No, man. The future, the now. It's been going on, Russ. I actually started a show with a buddy of mine, Don Terrell. He's here, a local. He's a freelancer entrepreneur. And we started a show about 2 months ago called Talking Creative, where we interview creative entrepreneurs from different walks. It's, the creative culture has always been, really close to my heart, as you know, because being a musician, we saw what it was like where we were struggling artists. And my mission has always been, how can we go from becoming a struggling artist to a thriving artist? So Talking Creative, in essence, is a contribution to the creative culture and helping them learn about business principles, social media marketing, how to, develop a platform, whether it's podcasting or live stream. So that show, Russ, actually, we got to get you on the show. It's we do it every Thursday at 6:30. And it's a live stream show, man. So I finally jumped on the live stream.
All right.
I hope you're proud of me. Yes, I finally jumped on the live stream wagon, and I've been doing it. It's been fun. I tell you what, Russ. One of the things about live streaming, and we also do it through StreamYard.
Oh, cool.
It's been fun just getting comfortable in front of the camera. I love the fact that it's very real. It allows you to embrace imperfection and be yourself without caring. I don't know about you. You've been doing it for a while, but for me, for anybody who's on the fence about live streaming, it could be very daunting. But trust me, there's something liberating about putting in those reps and just going live and just sharing. And one of the things that you said, Russ, is that now more than ever, this is the best time to share. Sharing is literally at a click of a button. Now
Yeah.
we can go click and go live and share. We can go podcast and there's a little bit more production, or YouTube, a little bit more production. But live stream is like the easy layup, guys. So if you have a message, or if you want to do an interview based show, or just kind of do a talking head show where you just want to share and build community, literally there's a button on Facebook and anywhere else where you can just click and just start sharing. And I think that's the amazing time that we're living in, especially, and that's the reason why I love live streaming, because it's so easy to get started. So I love it, man. I've been loving the live streaming, and I want to continue doing it for sure.
Well, and it's so, the parallel is unique to, many things. However, I relate it to music and musicians. The more you do it, the more practice you have,
That's right.
the smoother it gets. And you can edit yourself in the live stream and, take out the ums and the ahs and the buts and the pauses and the awkward silence. And once you get the rhythm down, and once you get the flow, and you find your groove in your voice, it seems to me, and maybe this is your experience as well, is that once you find your groove, once you find your, the cadence of the show, it becomes much easier because you don't have to think about it anymore. You just do it.
Right.
So,
yeah, I mean, it's just the more you do it, the more it gets better. And live streaming has really, I'll share something with you, Russ. I started a YouTube channel called Podcast Influence, and live streaming has really helped me build the on-camera confidence, and has helped me just overall with my camera presence. I'm pretty comfortable behind the mic, obviously, being when I was in a band, I was a vocalist. So podcasting came pretty simple to me.
Yeah.
I got this, but creating video content is as you know, is a whole different animal, especially on YouTube. So live streaming, and the channel was just launched 2 weeks ago. Live streaming, I've been doing it for 2 months, really helped me lay down the foundation. Now, I'm not a pro yet with video YouTube and all that, but I'm still getting better and better each time with building my confidence and becoming who I am on camera, authentically myself. So live streaming has really been great practicing grounds for that. So if anybody who's really interested in getting better on camera, go live, go live, put in those reps, and trust me, you will develop so many skill sets that are so related with personal development that it'll benefit you in all other platforms.
Well, you start discovering things about yourself that you hadn't recognized,
That's right. That's right.
It's like I stumble on my words a lot, and it's just a nuance that I have that, is unique to me. And, it's like, okay, I have certain, cadence issues that I think, oh, okay, I can improve that. However, it's still, I'm showing up every day. I'm bringing people to the room and highlighting them with everybody else. So like I said, if you're not connected to Ozeal, get connected to Ozeal. Tell them Russ sent you. And on any platform, I think you're pretty much on any platform, right, Ozeal?
Yeah, so I have a podcast, No Permission Needed, which is on hiatus, but I'm planning on resurrecting that very soon, just because I miss podcasting. And then, of course, the YouTube channel, guys. If you're interested in starting a if you're interested in starting a podcast, it's on YouTube. Check out Podcast Influence. And I'm going to be sharing tips and strategies and insights on all things podcasting. So thank you, Russ, for the plug. And I want to add on to something, man. You were talking about how you sometimes fumble over your words, and everybody does, right?
Yeah.
One of the things that I've discovered about live streaming, Russ, and I don't know if you've seen this too, and I'm pretty sure you have, just because you've been doing it for quite some time, is that people really don't care. I think is the message matters. And I think that's one of the things. I did an experiment, and I remember having a client who I was doing audio editing for, and the client was really just like rigid about cutting all the ums and ahs and all the imperfections, right? The vocal inflections that they were like, I really don't like the way I sound here. And they were just brutal. They gave me their editing sheet, and it was just, it was a lot of work. And I'm like, okay, relax. Yeah. I said, because people don't care about that. And sure enough, what we did, and I did this before, is I did 2 episodes. One of them was raw, right? Threw it in there. The other one was I mean, I spliced everything. It was, I mean, perfect, right? Perfect. Russ, people came back and said, hey, listen, give us the real stuff.
Yeah.
That polished interview, that polished vocal edit that you gave us sounded so robotic that it took away from who you are.
Yeah.
So don't give us that. Give us the real you. And that was an experiment right there to show everybody, all the pirates out there who are watching, that people don't care. If you go live and you fumble, people don't care. If you stutter, people don't care. The message over everything. Remember that. It's going to be your message over everything. And long as you show up consistently, like Russ has been doing on a daily basis, that cultivates trust, and he's always, putting in and contributing and providing value. But if you show up and you're passionate about the message, that matters most over everything else. All these little uhs and ahs and fumbles and all that, people don't want that. Right now, we're living in the era of real.
Yeah.
The more authentic you are, the real it is. That's why YouTube is so popular, Russ, is because people love that blog, people love that raw. And if you want to create content that's polished, then there's cable for that, baby. Like, go to cable, watch cable, watch that polished stuff. But if you want real human beings creating real content and real value, go to YouTube, go to podcasts, and go to live streaming. That's where it's at.
Well, and I noticed a lot more. I actually noticed a lot more YouTubers actually going live streaming.
Big time.
And it's big time because, it's great to be able to put out a, 10-minute polished, edited, all the production into it. And that takes a lot of time. It takes an abundance of time. And
tell me about it.
I see some of these individuals, I've got a workflow down and I got a team to help me. And I've got things going on that allow me to do this every morning. It sets the pace of my day, and it's kind of my thing,
Sure.
And so if I can help someone else start and get going and get moving, that's a win in my mind is just set the example, add value to the equation. That's all you have to do. If it's not perfect, it's okay. If it's improving, that's a good thing. However, the value that you're offering in your community and sharing is that's the most important thing you can do.
Yeah.
So what are some ideas and tips that you're seeing value in sharing as far as podcasting overall? We've talked about just go live, just get it out there, get started. And I know that there's a lot of it's like, okay, well, what do I do with this now that I got it launched? What is it I need to do in order to get to the next level?
Yeah, that's when the heavy lifting starts. I think there's obviously the beginning, the building, the foundation, building a brand, making sure you nail that down, and then you launch the podcast. But what I'm finding, not only for early stage podcasters, but even veteran podcasters, is once we launch it, like, what do we do now? And podcast marketing has been a challenge for a lot of podcasters. So Wendy, I see that you don't edit. I love it. It's real in my closet. Me too. I actually just shot I did a YouTube. What was it? No, it was a podcast, and I live streamed it, and it was like, clothes all over the background, and all that. That's the way I'm doing it. Yeah, it's the best soundproof room in any household, right? You have to go in a closet and you do that. So I love it.
Awesome.
Yeah. So listen, you were talking about tips. So I think right now, live streaming is a great promotional platform in addition to the podcast. So if you can use live streaming to, let's say you drop a new podcast episode on Thursday, how about if you go live on Tuesday and talk a little bit about the podcast, give them a teaser, kind of like the way TV shows release teasers, right? Before they give you a little snippet of what's to come. So what if you go on and say, hey guys, my name is Ozeal, host of No Permission Needed. In this week's episode, I'm going to talk with Russ John, and Russ John is, and I can kind of give some tips and kind of start curating a little bit of the content of kind of the golden nuggets you shared. So that way it builds anticipation, right? It's kind of like a trailer, and then you drop that. So I think I would love to see more podcasters get more in the trenches when it comes to promoting the content. Now you can't just publish a podcast and then just say, okay, I'm going to say, hey guys, check out my episode. Like, that's done. You can't do that anymore. You really got to do live streaming. You got to incorporate, maybe IGTV or Insta stories where you can really promote and share some of the exclusive, authentic insights that you took away from the episode, and do that before and after. So marketing has definitely, there's more heavy lifting now, but I think it's needed, especially for podcasters. If you're watching this and you want to grow your audience, you got to invest in your community. You got to build a connection, and you got to be consistent. You got to, and you got to show up in your marketing efforts when it comes to launching that podcast. So those are some tips that I've known that I've been able to incorporate in promoting content. Period.
And I think a lot of people imagine, they're just going to launch a podcast and monetize it. It's like, okay,
right.
And like you said, there's a lot of launching the podcast is the easy part. Growing it and getting in the trenches and marketing it and making sure that people can even discover it. Because the social media, you have to differentiate yourself around the noise and just get past it. And the only way you're going to do that is roll up your sleeves and go to work. And it does take time. So that's right. That's great advice. Any tips on you're going to be sharing in your YouTube channel?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, here's an exclusive. So the video that we're shooting today is going to be, we release a new video every Thursday. Okay. The next video will be some of the most common mistakes that podcasters make and how to avoid them. So one of the mistakes is what you just said, is just, launching it and then just kind of falling back and not doing any of the promotion. So I think there's a 3-part, right? There's a pre-promo, and then kind of in the middle, and then also after the fact. So again, it's all about rolling up your sleeves and promoting your podcast and being really diligent about every episode, and knowing that every piece of content that you put out deserves attention, right? You've had a great guest. They provided some value. If you have an interview-based show, you showed up, you invested so much heart and soul into this episode that it deserves for you to really promote it and really give a fair share in getting it out there to the world. So I share a lot of the last video that I posted, Russ, was about branding, because I'm very, you and I'm very passionate about branding. And it's probably one of the most common mistakes that most podcasters make pretty much in any platform, whether it's YouTube, is that they don't nail down their brand, kind of like with you, right? The PirateBroadcast, right? That's the name. You have a hashtag. It was great. You showed a lot of love. You know how to conduct a great interview. You have the people that you call pirates. You're the captain, Captain Russ Johns. I love that. That's all part of the brand.
It's all part of the process.
That part of the process. But what I love about that, man, and that's what I preach and teach is, really to help podcasters brand their platform and to really brand their message and how to humanize that message. Because the more they humanize their message, the deeper connection they will make with their audience. And I think those are the foundational pieces that a lot of podcasters miss early on. So I'm excited, Russ, because, YouTube is one of those platforms that I've avoided for so long. I think you told me a long time ago, video. I know you've always been video. And I've always been audio because I believe in podcasting. But now is the time.
I've always had a podcast on it.
You've always had a podcast. Yeah.
I mean, and I knew that video was going to be important because just the visibility and the attraction factor, even if you turn your audio into a podcast, like what I do, like by the end of the day, Ozeal, we're streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, and LinkedIn, right? 4 platforms. And then I'm going to turn that around. I'm going to create it. And then I run it on Aphonics. I run the audio on Aphonics to level it. So every podcast is the same level because I don't want that to go. And then that's over to Spreaker. That's always been my platform of choice for podcasting. And then I run that on Spreaker, which distributes it to Spotify, Apple, iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, all of these other platforms. So all of a sudden there's an abundance of that. And then I create a transcription out of that and I create a post. So all of this content is built up after a single event. that is then accumulated under a single platform, russjohns.com. You can go check it out anytime, like it and share it.
Of course.
5-star review if you're feeling up for it.
Love it. Love it.
And then all of a sudden you have a lot of content that you can utilize over the period of time. You can slice it and dice it and use programs like Wave or Headliner, or some of these other pieces of content where you can actually utilize bits and pieces, like you're saying. After the show, you can promote it some more. You can promote it again.
Right.
And
well, I mean, that was a golden takeaway for everybody who's watching this, all the pirates. What you just broke down was the framework of how to take a piece of content and break it down into different fragments, where you start distributing the content on all platforms, right? You have transcript, you have a blog post, you got everything. I mean, and I think that's where it's at. I think for anybody who's watching this, whether you're starting a podcast or a live stream, or you're building an online brand, in the beginning, it's a lot of work, but you have to get in the mindset of community, and then figuring out ways, building your community, pouring into that, but figuring out ways on the back end internally, what can I do to take this piece of content and break it up into different forms of pieces? Because let's face it, Russ, some people love video, right? Yeah. They love watching, videos. They go on YouTube or live stream. And then there's some people like, you know what, I'm really busy. Well, audio, because it's convenient and you can plug in and do your thing and still kind of be plugged into the content. And then people love the live stream just because they love the connection. They love the interaction, right? People are tuning in right now because we can see their comments and we can say, hello, what's up? What's going on? Darren, and what's up, Bertrand? And we see everybody, they love that connection. So I love what you just said. And that was just a great takeaway for anybody who is trying to figure out a way to distribute their content in all facets. Is exactly what Russ just said, is break it all down and get it out there as much as you can. So
yeah,
so I love it, man.
Here's an interesting thing about branding. Let's go. And I know we're getting to, we have a LinkedIn user. I've watched 2 shows and still have no idea what the point is. Mm-hmm. So the point of the show and the Pirates is, the whole point of Pirates, and I just want to explain this, in the traditional broadcasting sense, a pirate broadcaster was somebody that didn't have a license for a frequency. So now that we're on the internet, we're all able to broadcast and share information. So what I do is I bring interesting people doing interesting things. And then we talk about marketing, we talk about podcasting, we talk about branding, we talk about LinkedIn tips, we talk about different subjects in different areas of business to allow people to understand what is going on around us. So 2 shows, and it's there. I guess,
watch more.
Is there a point? The point is that everybody has something that they're doing that brings value to the table. And I just want to highlight some of these individuals in the community that are doing some good work, like Ozeal. So that's the point of the show, is bringing value to the table so you have an understanding of what's going on around you. And I think by doing so, if you can get a bigger perception of some of the things that you're able to do or take on, because have you ever had that instance, Ozeal, where you're saying, hey, I could do that. Mm-hmm. I could do that. That doesn't look that difficult. I think I could learn how to do that. And that's the opportunity I want to bring to the table. So, and bringing people like Ozeal, who's very talented in branding. He's very talented in the podcasting arena. He's helped thousands of people be inspired by some of the things that he's done. He's growing a community in Houston, and reach out to him, find out what you can learn, find out where he posts his content and shares his information, and then just continue to learn something from it. That's the point. Yeah.
Thank you, Russ. Well said. And thanks for tuning in, by the way, guys.
Yeah. Thank you for tuning in. I love this. I know that I know you're busy. You got lots of things going on. So you want to share any lasting, something mind-blowing, inspirational, or just tips of the day that you want to share with us?
Oh, man, the pressure is on, man. I could probably go on for about 30 minutes on this, man. No, listen, I think what's important is, and you guys have probably heard this before, and I say this is because I've suffered by this overthinking syndrome for a long time. Is simply that don't overthink it. If you are passionate about building brand online, the tools are out there. There's resources like Russ Johns with all the amazing work that he's doing. Ozeal Media is where you can find me. Ozealmedia.com is where I help brands and businesses build podcasts. And now, there's live streaming. The tools are out there. So if you're passionate about the message, if you're passionate about your community, now is the time to start and take baby steps. Okay, be practical, be realistic. You can't compare someone's. There's a great quote, Russ, that's something about, and I'm going to chop it up, but you can't. What is it? You can't compare someone's Z to like your A or something like that along the line. But basically, in essence, right? You can't. There's an imposter syndrome.
Someone's ending with your beginning.
There you go. I love that. There you go. That's it. Well said. Love that. And that's so true. And I actually have to keep that in mind as I embark on this YouTube journey, guys, that I see great, well-produced YouTubers that are crushing it. And it could be pretty daunting for me to kind of step into the arena. So if you're on the fence, step into the arena. It's time for you to start playing the game, start learning the game, taking baby steps. And because those small wins will get to the big result. And I think that if you're passionate about your message, always be aligned with your why and why you're doing this. And that will dismantle every aspect of the overthinking, because at the end of the day, your message is more important than the metrics. Message over metrics. And focus on your message, be aligned with it, create, share. And little by little, you will start seeing your audience grow because they see you showing up consistently. They see that you're passionate about your message. And that's when true leadership emerges. Leaders are the people that are committed and are consistent with their message, and they believe that what they do is important and will make a positive impact and influence on the world. Now more than ever, guys, we need leaders. We need you. We need voices of leadership, of impact, to really emerge and start embracing these tools that are free, and don't take much money to even invest in. So now we need you to show up, be aligned with your message, invest in your community, and be yourself and contribute your message to the world. So don't overthink it. Get started. Use the resources at hand and give yourself permission to make something special happen. So that's all I got to say, man. That's my motivation. No permission needed, baby. That's right. That's right.
Hey,
I love
you. Ozeal, I really appreciate it. I know we went over, and thank you for your advice, your wisdom. And also, if you're not, like I said, connected with Ozeal, get connected, Ozeal. And as always, as you know, kindness is cool. Smiles are free. And you enjoy your day, Ozeal.
You too, brother. Thanks, guys.
Care, bye.
Cheers.
Thank you for joining the Pirate Broadcast. If you found this content valuable, please like, comment, and share it across your social media channels. I would love the opportunity to help others grow in their business. The Pirate Syndicate is a platform where you show up, we produce the show. It's that easy. If you want to be seen, be heard, and be talked about, join the Pirate Syndicate today.